Welcome to Rouse Rising. My name is Katie, and in this video today we are making homemade cornbread from scratch. We are going to be grinding our own cornmeal or corn flour with Margaret the Mill. This is my Como Fitibus Classic grain mill that was gifted to me from a subscriber. So we're going to use that today to make this cornbread. I am going to be using a gluten-free 1-to-1 flour, but you can substitute all-purpose flour or a fresh milled white wheat flour, like a soft white wheat if you would prefer. That would be best. So we are going to grind this on a medium grind. If you need to grind it coarse at first and then run it through a second time on a finer grind with your mill, go ahead and do that. And then once we have our 1 cup of corn ground down into cornmeal, we're going to add some milk to this. You can use buttermilk, almond milk, whatever kind of milk that you have on hand. I'm going to be using almond milk in this video today. You want to measure out 1 cup of cornmeal. I did not do this. I just used the 1 cup of corn, and whatever was milled out, that's what I ended up with. And then you need to add liquid as needed to your cornbread, but you do want it to be a thicker batter. My batter actually comes out quite thick, and I could have added more milk to the batter, but I did not. So this recipe calls for 1 cup of cornmeal, 1.5 cups flour, 4 teaspoons baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and I'm using Redmond's real salt, 1/2 cup of sugar, 1.5 cups of milk. You can use buttermilk, almond milk, whatever kind of milk you have on hand, 1 egg, 1/4 cup oil, and then we are going to bake this in a cast iron skillet in a preheated oven at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes or until the middle is done. I milled my cornmeal and then added milk to it immediately so that it could start soaking. You can also pre-soak your cornmeal overnight if you would like to do that. And then I am mixing up all of my other dry ingredients together, and I'm going to mix them in with my wet ingredients. I still have a few more things to add to the cornmeal, and then we're going to get this baked up and I'll show you what it looks like once it's served. This is one of my family's favorite what do you call this? Grain recipes? What is this? I'm not sure, but this is a family favorite. They love cornbread slathered with lots of butter, and they like it with their chili, or the next day it is good with milk and a little bit of maple syrup drizzled on top. If you have plenty left over, you can freeze your cornbread and then you can use it in a recipe down the road, like a stuffing, cornbread stuffing, something like that. So don't fret if you have some left over, and like I said, it is good the next day with a little bit of milk and honey or maple syrup poured over it. It's so good. It was one of the things that we had as children growing up. My mom would make a huge, or maybe 2 large pans, the 9x13 pans, cake pan of cornbread, and we would eat on that for a few days in a row. Have you ever had cornbread before, or is this more of a southern thing that we had down in the South? We lived in Virginia. We weren't too far down in the deep South, but we definitely had lots of skillet meals and cornbread, and my mom had all the cornbread molds, like the cast iron molds, and man, I wish I would have saved one of those, but I didn't get one of those. It would have been nice in her memory to be able to make the cornbread in like the little corn cob shaped cast iron molds. So this batter is obviously a little bit on the thicker side. I definitely should have, because this is the first time I've ever made it with gluten-free flour. So I may not have used enough liquid, especially because I might have used more than a cup of cornmeal. So here's my hot skillet. It is nice and oiled up. And if you want to know how to take care of your cast iron skillet, I have a video on my channel, how to clean your cast iron cookware. So you can see that it is actually really easy to maintain cast iron cookware and to take care of it and keep it nice, stick-free or non-stick, and to use for all of your delicious recipes. I use this skillet every single day, and I actually have 2 skillets that are the same size, but this one gets the most use. I hope you enjoy this cornbread recipe. I will leave my recipe inspiration linked down below in this video's description. I got the original recipe from Felicia over at Grains and Grit, and then I altered it to be gluten-free. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.